Remembers all the moves I make in a mix. So when I do something in a mix, it remembers everything I do, and then so I don't have to remove everything every time I do it. It just automatically does it for me. Obviously, it's all editable, changeable. It's a really cool system, and so I'm going to bring everything back up. Throw in stuff like that. This green line here is bass guitar. Bass. Here, let me.
Now, who is that, Joey?
You're not supposed to ask me that. Actually, you can't ask me that. That bass guitar done by one of the most highly sought-after session musicians in Nashville. His name is Tom Hemby, and he created these tracks. Okay, I've shown you all the music pieces, and then we've got background vocals. Now, these vocals were from the majority of these vocals were done by a guy named Daniel Johnson, who tours with a group called New Breed, and Daniel's done several songs for me here in the studio. Daniel, most notably, he's all over the world touring. He does a lot of work with Andre Crouch, and matter of fact, him and Andre were the opening number at Michael Jackson's funeral. So the guy is a world-class vocalist. So he gave me these background vocals for this song right here. Give me 1 second. Here we go. Here's what he gave me. Here come all the vocals.
All the world over, so easy to see. People everywhere just wanna be free. Listen, please, listen, that's the way it should be. Peace in the valley, people got to be free.
Okay, those are all the background vocals, and then on top of that, we brought in some live horns that are being recorded and played right up on top here. Give me 1 second, and I'll isolate those guys. Here's some of the horn parts. I'll put that together with the rest of the music. And then this line right here represents the lead vocal track, which is Daniel here singing for us. I'll let you hear it against the whole track.
You should see what a lovely, lovely world this would be if everyone learned to live together. It seems to me such an easy thing that should be.
These are the background. You can see the background vocals coming.
Why can't you and me learn to love one another?
Now you're going to hear the background as soon as you see it hit the middle.
All the world over, so easy to see. People everywhere just wanna be free. I can't understand, it's so simple to me. People everywhere just got to be
The horns. Hear the horns. And that's kind of how it's all built together. It's just one little component at a time, and that's why they call it mix, because you mix all these little components together to make a song that sounds good.
I played those horns.
Did you? You did a great job. I really like it, man.
Thank you, Joey.
I know you love what you do. I love what I do. I know that. I'm going to move over into the vocal isolation booth, and in this room, you probably can't tell on television, but the acoustics are a little different. In here, we have a reflective wall on one side. We have a totally dead wall on the other side. No parallel walls, no parallel windows. Everything's at an angle, so keep reflections to a minimum. And so we've got a number of microphones that are available depending on what best fits a vocalist vocal qualities. Some of these are some of the top microphones in the world. Those that know studio gear know that Neumann is one of the best out there. Microphones that are worth over $1,000 a piece, so pretty good stuff.
Explain what this wall is, and what it does.
Well, this wall has a kind of a textured. It is a wallpaper, but it's a textured reflective wallpaper that is purposed to reflect sound waves.
So you don't use the foam and things no more. That's
Well,
out.
yeah, you do. You do to a point. You don't want a totally dry room. You want it somewhat dry, which is what this wall does. You can see that it gives. It's very soft. There's a filler on the inside that does not allow reflection from this wall. So sometimes if we're doing a real quiet, intimate little song, and so sometimes I'll bring this microphone and I'll put it right up facing this way, where there's very little reflection, and just to kind of have the vocalist sing real close to the mic to create that little intimate singing in your ear kind of feel. Where on a song that's a little more rockish or something that's a little more R&B-ish, you may want something a little more live sounding, so you want a little bit of reflection. It's kind of it's a controlled combination of things. But the reason these walls are not parallel is because square rooms create, without getting real technical, create waves that really tend to wreak havoc on good audio. More and more people are doing studios in their home,
Right.
and so, but without understanding the principles of acoustics, you wonder why the recording at home doesn't sound so hot. Well,
Because you're in the closet, you're recording in the closet, the
there's a
bathroom.
variety of issues
Yeah.
because the home studio guy generally can't afford a $1,000 microphone,
Right.
can't afford the $4,000 all tube preamp that it goes to before it hits the recording.
Right.
They think, I've got a piece of software that'll record, I got a microphone, I'm done. There are some very, very nice home studios. I've seen them, been in them, some really high-end home studios. But generally, now this room in here is I call it a live room because it's if you can tell, if you hear the voice, it's very reflective, and it kind of adds live
Right.
feel
Right.
to a recording, I should say. Wood floors, 20-foot high ceilings, and so it adds a little ambiance to it. Yet when musicians are in this room, we're number one, we're tied in together with headphones so we can communicate.
Right.
But they also have visual access to the control room and to the isolation booth where the vocals can be going. Sometimes we'll put a guitar player in there so the amp doesn't bleed over onto the live drums, say. So this room would be great for a drummer. May have a vocalist in the control room just singing a scratch vocal that's not going to be used on the final recording, just so everybody knows where we're at.
Right.
And at the same time, maybe have a guitar player in the isolation booth where his amp's not bleeding over into everything. Plus, you could have a bass player hardwired into the system, no amp, running through some really cool processes, and headphones on. He doesn't have to be isolated. So everybody is recording an isolated sound, but yet they're still playing together. So it gives you a more produced sound, I guess you'd say.
Okay, Joey, explain why, some artists, they have the headphone on one side and they're listening, because some of the viewers might want to know why they do that. What are they listening for?
Well, it's primarily a personal preference, but,
Right.
but a lot of times with both sets of headphones on, ears covered up, you're hearing purely what's being sent through the console. And a lot of times people will take one side off or just hold one side up,
Right.
so they can hear their voice with their own ear,
Right.
as opposed to what's being sent to to the thing, and some people find it easier to sing that way.
Right.
So it's really a pretty simple personal preference thing.
And then they like to hold it too.
Yeah, they got to hold it. Yeah, then you got to hold it, but you look good. You know, so.
Hey, Joey, give us a little bio on you and tell us what you do. I know you have a CD, you know, you write songs, you know, this and that.
Yeah.
You know, you go ahead and run it down.
Well, I've been a musician my whole life. Been in music since my junior high days. I'm an old guy now, see?
Hello.
And I'm a songwriter. I've had the privilege of signing publishing contracts on 16 of my songs. I do a lot of songwriting consultation for people. I do a lot of mastering work for people, prepping songs for broadcast. I've done that, you know, a lot of that kind of stuff. Do a lot of promotional stuff too, even promotional materials, even T-shirts for bands and that kind of stuff. I'm also on staff at my church. I'm the worship leader at my church, and I've been doing that for a long for decades. Doing that kind of stuff. So just using my talents and abilities in a number of ways.
You know, I heard one of your CDs, and you know, I really like it because you know you sound like the Doobie Brother thing, you know, and I just think it's so cool. Was that the
yeah, they copied me. They copied me.
Oh, they copied you. Okay. Yeah. For the viewers to hear, go ahead and roll something.
I do have a song that I put it on an album a couple of years back.
Is this a gospel CD?
It's a contemporary Christian. It's not really gospel per se.
There's a sun in a cloudy sky. There's a smile in every tear. There's a reason for you and I to take our faith beyond our fear. And though today turns to tomorrow, we'll go on and on. My heart is in your hands, but I know you won't fail me. You give meaning to this man when life seems so confused.
That sounds good.
A little piece of that.